I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna. No need to go. Oh, he got over. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. All right, guys. So, welcome to the channel. My name is Dylan, and today's episode we're just gonna be going for a ride. It just rained a little bit ago. The roads are a little bit drier now, so I wanted to take advantage of the fact that it stopped raining, the skies are out, and it's a beautiful day. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of cruise around and welcome to my very first video. So really excited to be doing this. Last time I did this, I actually tried this video twice. This is my second go. The first time I did the whole thing in slow motion because I didn't know how to do the camera. So honestly, a little embarrassed by that, but you know what? You live and you learn, you make mistakes, and honestly there was a couple things that I had said in the last one that I was like, I didn't want to bring that up, and now I'm like, okay, now I know how to carry the conversation a little bit better, but here we are. So like I said, this is something I just been wanting to do for a long time, and you know, to finally be a part of this community and have a bike, and just be able to cruise around, enjoy the weather, and enjoy like riding motorcycles is just something that, you know, I never thought I'd ever be doing, but here I am, and I cannot explain to you guys how happy I am. And you know, something kind of the topic of today that I really want to talk about was like, it was like anxiety and depression. And I know there's a lot of guys out there, you know, that have motorcycles that kind of deal with stuff. You know, I think that everybody really goes through something or has something going on in life that, you know, it's just too much for them, you know. And a lot of guys use motorcycles as like a way to get away and a way to just kind of be yourself and get away from reality and kind of just, I'm gonna turn this off real quick, kind of just like, yeah, for lack of just get away. You know, this for me has helped me more than any therapy or any bit of money that I'd ever spend on medication would. You know, like this right here is what it's all about. Going outside, feeling that breeze in your face or on your arms and wherever the heck, you know, and just getting on the bike, listening to that motor, feeling the throttle, pulling in that clutch, pushing down the brake, kicking up on the clutch. Like, it's something that it requires all 100% of your focus at all times. You kind of see my head's on a swivel as well. But man, I tell you what, this is something that, oh, my shifts are bad. I am a new rider, guys, too, so don't judge me for that, but I've only got 4,300 miles on the odometer. As you can tell, my clutch play is not the absolute best, but I'm just going out right now. We're gonna go get something to eat, kind of enjoy the weather until it gets dark. I'm in North Carolina right now, and it is June, so the sun doesn't go down until about 8:30. So I've got about an hour and a half left here to kind of enjoy it. So that's what we're gonna do today. You know, let me just kind of go back to kind of a little bit about me and just why am I doing this? Why am I making a channel? Dylan, like, who are you? You know, and I know that's a lot of people are like, wow, it's just another motovlogger, and I get that, you know, and there is going to be a lot of that. They're like, oh, it's another motovlogger, you know, a guy on a motorcycle just bought a bike and now all of a sudden he wants to be a YouTuber. I get it. I 100% do, but in all reality, it's not about me wanting to be a YouTuber. It's just me having something to get away from reality and to be able to put my focus and time and energy into something else that I truly enjoy. There's going to be a link in the description to my Instagram channel, or sorry, to my Instagram account, and you guys see like motorcycle photography, car photography. That is like my passion. That is something that I've always, I don't want to say I've always loved, you know, because this is so new to me. I've been in the car scene for, you know, since I was a freshman in high school. I'm 25 now. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and down there, you know, that car scene is kind of different. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of those takeovers and just a lot of the meets that come out of there. And I know a lot of people talk about Tampa a lot. I know a lot of people talk about Orlando. I know a lot of people talk about Miami and all that stuff. So But coming from that, I was always a car guy. I never really had any interest in riding a bike, really at all. You know, I always thought bikes were like this guy, were basically on like a cruiser type of bike or whatever, chopper, whatever you guys want to call it. Oh, my nose is so itchy. But that's what I thought motorcycles were. And I never saw the interest in that. I was always that guy. I had the Mustang. I had a V6 Mustang all through high school, pretty much. Then when I graduated high school, oh, she's pretty. When I graduated high school, I got a 2016 Mustang GT. It was a 6-speed manual, and oh my god, I love that car. That was probably one of my favorite things to ever do, was ride around. I felt so cool. I'd go downtown all the time. I'd go to car meets. I actually started a car crew. It's called Inspire.meets, which I might, if I can, I'll put it here. I'm not really good at editing yet, but I'll put a link to that, and you guys can kind of take a look at it and where I kind of came from, basically. But anyways, that's kind of my background in the car scene. Now, bikes, like I said, were never really a thing. They were introduced to me through an ex a long while back. And again, through the entirety of the relationship, I never had one. I didn't care for him. I was always a car guy. You know, I worked all the time. Now that I'm older, I kind of got myself in a better position in life. You know, I'm making adult money. I'm able to have more of a life outside of work. You know, I have a normal, I guess you would say, a 9 to 5. You know, I got my weekends off type deal. I don't really have an idea where we're going, but I'm just kind of going with the flow here, wherever the road takes us. So, but yeah. Like, now that I've had time, you know, I saw it all the time. There was always people riding around. You know, you could hear it, like the city echoes. By the way, I live in Asheville, North Carolina. But the city echoes wherever you're at, and it's such a small town. It's a city, but that's not a city. Look at that. I mean, yeah, like coming from Orlando to that is not a city. That is a town, but it's the city of Asheville. So. Oh, she was so cute. I get distracted. I'm so sorry, but anyways, yeah, you can hear it, and you know, I saw it. I would show up to some car meets, and you know, I again wasn't super interested in it. And one day I went down there. We have a dealership down here. Shout out to MR Motorcycle. Those guys hooked me up a great deal on this bike. By the way, I have a 2026 Ninja 500 SE edition, which is why you see this beautiful cord going into my phone. One of the perks of having the SE is the fact that you get a charger with it. Anyways, back to the whole spiel about bikes. Again, no interest. I went down to the dealer one day. I took a look at it. I saw it, and I was like, man, I want one now. All my friends were getting them. People I knew had them. They're like, man, you need to get one. You need to get one. And, kind of off the story, it's so funny to me how, like, once you get one and the people you know start to get them. I think it's just funny how it's like, oh, you got one? Oh, I'm gonna get one. Okay, you got one? Oh, I'm gonna get one. Like, it's so true. Like, like literally my best friend for like life. This guy, like, I would take a bullet for him. I served in the military with him. Not even like 2 months later after I get mine, he gets his, and it's the same bike, and I think that's hilarious. Back to the story. I found this bike. I love this bike. I go to get it. I can't get it. I can't finance it. I wasn't making as much money, and I didn't really have a good income. And my credit was absolute doggy doo-doo. So I was like, okay, you know, it's in the back of my mind now. One of the guys I was working with had a little Grom, and, you know, he rode around it every day, and I was like, oh, Grom, that's dumb. You know what I mean? Who rides around on a Grom? So I had this brilliant idea, and I decided to quit my job and not have one for like 2 months until I could find one that would pay for my life, pretty much. I came out of the military. I did 4 years of service in the United States Army. I was a wheeled vehicle mechanic. I turned wrenches for a couple dealerships here and there. You know, I like really my only life experience was really in the military. That's what really kind of brought me up more than anything. But like I said, I decided to quit my job, sell everything that I had that was worth any bit of money. Like I had a $2,000 gaming setup that I had, Xboxes, monitors, I had a lot of gaming stuff, wheels, tires, all that kind of jazz. I've actually never taken this exit before. I sold it all, and I stumbled across the job that I'm in now, and somehow I ended up getting it. With the lack of experience that I have, I was super fortunate. Oh, we're gonna turn here. Let's get a little lean in, a little lean. Oh yeah. I got that job. Finally got my own apartment. Life started coming together. You know, I'm able to be an adult, pay my own bills, and here I am. I stumbled on this bike one day. I walked in there, and I was like, oh, I'm getting it. And ran the numbers. I had money to actually put down on the freaking thing. And I got this bike in February of this year. So, and ever since then, you know, since February, I put almost 4,500 miles on it now, so that's kind of it's not a whole lot, but a lot of people say it is, because, you know, 4,000 miles for a bike on its first year is kind of high, but I don't really think that's true. I think, honestly, it's just a number, right? It's a 2026 bike, so, but yeah, so I started, let's see, I met one of my guys at work, who I've become real close friends with. He had this Grom, and, you know, I got this bike, and we started riding around. And funnily enough, one of the guys I used to work with, he ended up getting a bike, so we started riding with him. And then he knew people. He knew, like, about meets and stuff like that, and he kind of introduced me to more people. And now in the city of Asheville, or at least in this Buncombe County is what you want to call it, I've met quite a bit of people, and the bike community out here, off topic, but the bike community compared to the car community is two totally different things, and by far, hands down, 120,000%, the bike community is so much nicer, so much, like, cooler. Like, the people are just like, oh, dude, you got a Ninja 500? It's a slower bike, but, like, dude, that's your first bike. That's so awesome, man. Like, you're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love what you do. Like, riding it every day, you're gonna fall in love with it. Buy more bikes, and, like, and dude, it's so true. It's literally, like, the funniest thing in the world. Like, I'm on this bike every day that I can be, weather dependent. But it's so funny because it's so true. But back to the story. Yeah, so basically that's kind of what happened. Is just I got a bike. I knew somebody who had one, and I found another person who had one, and then damn, it's so hot outside right now. Found another person who had one, and then that thing just led from one thing to another, and then I started doing photography for bikes, and that account kind of, I don't want to say blew up, but I do have like 5,000 followers on there, which to me is like, I've never had over like 300. I was one of those guys that just like didn't really care about it, to be honest with you. But God, it's so hot. I need to start riding this bike. I feel like I'm like running out of breath here. But yeah, so I kind of just, one thing led to another, and here I am. But anyways, I don't want to drag the video on super long. I just kind of wanted to do a quick little introduction, my first ride on the bike, pretty much, for the channel. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short here. You know, I really appreciate any of you that do watch, and I hope you guys come along for the journey and kind of just see what it's like for me to, you know, be a part of this community and start riding bikes. And as I get further into it, hopefully I can make more entertaining content for y'all. So again, I really appreciate anybody watching. Please like, please subscribe. You know, the same thing everybody says. I really appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all come back and enjoy this with me. So I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.